Hello and welcome to our virtual time clock training series. In this video, we'll be covering how to create a new display group and configure the general settings. So let's go ahead and get started. With the time clock open, we're going to go to File, Turn Administration On, and put in our password. Now we're going to go to Configure, and we're going to go to the display group options. Now, if you've never changed the group settings here, you're going to probably have one display group called time clock users, and this will include all the employees that you've added so far. To create a new group, I can go at the very bottom of the list and choose New Group and give my new group a name. And now I've got a new group of employees that I can start to configure the options for. So today we're just going to be looking at the options under the Settings tab, the first tab here. And we actually have a separate video that covers interfaces. So you can watch that for more information. Basically, interfaces just change the way that the time clock is displayed for your employees. So let's take a look at the first option here for security. So checking this box would require a manager or an administrator password in order to log into this group. And that can be helpful if you're concerned about people switching between groups. And let's take a look down here at the time clock use section. So with the in and out board specifically, you can choose to not require passwords. And then employees can simply click on their name from the list and punch in or out. But we usually recommend enforcing passwords. The show break and show lunch buttons, these just display the lunch and break buttons for employees to use. So you can choose to hide those or show those depending on how you'll be using the time clock. The show entry note field option shows like a little text field where employees can enter a note that will be attached to their time card when they're punching in or out. The next option, show entry note option in user menus. This basically just allows users or managers to change the last entry note that was recorded. So if you want them to be able to edit their last entry note. And then the misstop error here, the misstop error automatically flags an employee time card if the user forgets to punch out after a certain number of hours off the clock. And this hour threshold number right here can be increased or decreased depending on how long your employees are normally on the clock. And then the shift rules section down here allows you to apply multiple shift rules to this current, in my case, the sample group. So I can apply several shift rules that will take effect successively. Shifts can overlap, but the start time for each successive shift must be at least 4 hours apart. And that's this little question mark here kind of goes over how you can set up multiple shifts based on the time of day. And you'll get into that if you set up shifts for your employees. So we can go ahead and apply this new group. And then I'll show you something real quick. If I close this, now that I have a new group created, again, we have videos that will cover all the other tabs and options here. But if I close this group here, or this window, in administration mode, I can actually now switch to this new group, and it'll probably have a different list of employees typically. But that's one way you can look at different groups of employees. So again, that kind of covers all the general settings for groups. To learn about other group settings, again, you can see the rest of our display group training series in our knowledge base. If you have any additional questions about virtual time clock, please visit our website to give us a call or send us an email at service@redcourt.com.